Welcome to Paradise, Michigan, Genesis, Season 3, Episode 20, Waiting for a Girl Like You. Carrie, would you like to give us a recap and bring us up to speed?
Yes,
Thank
I
you.
would. So, when last we left our heroes, they had decided ultimately to follow Mouse through the forest to make their way towards the shipwreck where presumably Algernon and perhaps Sophie is waiting for them. However, on the way, a mysterious something happened with Mouse. She froze and was gently whispering, really weirdly, creepily, everything everybody else was saying. Just when they thought that things couldn't get any worse, Rosie slapped her in the face. And then the ground gave out beneath her and them, and everybody except Rosie and Mouse fell into a pit. The gang tried to get themselves out of the pit, Rosie pulling Coop up first, and then ultimately Billy half wolfed out and leapt out of the pit. Just as they were figuring out how to get the others out of the pit, something mysterious happened down below. Hashtag hand stuff. And then they started to get grabbed and gotten and gitted by a bajillion D hands. And Jessica, thank God, has her cool phasing ability and touched Laz and Oak and allowed them to not be gotten by the hands. And then up above, they realized time was of the essence. And so they dropped the rope down. Jessica let go. All three of them grabbed the rope and got yoinked upwards. However, the hands were grabbing them and pulling them downward. And it didn't look like the three above would have the strength to get them out of the pit. Thank God Mouse finally snapped out of whatever the fuck was going on with her and grabbed the gun back from Rosie, who had taken it in case, Mouse went postal. And started just that's when she started blasting. And hands were flying everywhere in pieces and blood and guts and awesome. And it looked like maybe the tides had turned and all three of the ones that were in the pit had gotten out of the pit. But to everyone's horror, Jessica had been shot. And then Rosie used her power in a different way and kind of accidentally, I guess, transferred Jessica's wound onto herself and suffered the consequences of doing that. Laz scooped up Rosie and with the help of Oak slowed down time to give them time enough to get back to the lighthouse where there is a green door with a brass handle, and with the use of Coop's skeleton keys are trying to get back to Traverse City General to do what they can for Rosie. Meanwhile, back with the others, they were kind of reeling with everything that had just happened. And Mouse revealed her theory that the island itself perhaps does not want them to make it to their meeting with Algernon. And I think that was it. Oh, no, it wasn't, because they looked back down into the pit at Mouse's behest and just then noticed that the corpse they had found at the bottom of the pit was wearing Coop's exact outfit and had a power glove just like Coop's.
Like Chester Prosper Potts.
I love and that was it. No, it wasn't!
I almost forgot about the fucking best button in the history of our games. It was great. Man. It gave us a very clear, no, this isn't the end of the season. We're not necessarily going to end on any kind of cliffhanger or anything. And then, every game you ran for the rest of that week ended on a cliffhanger.
Yep, that's what happens sometimes. All right. Here we go. The emergency room doors suddenly slam open. Laz, you stumble in first, cradling Rosie in your arms like something you're afraid may already be half lost. Her body is dead weight. Her legs dangle limply, one shoe missing. Her shirt is drenched, slick and dark with blood, spreading in a thick, glistening bloom across her chest. and into the crook of your arm. Her face is colorless, lips pale blue, lashes fluttering weakly. Her skin has the sickly sheen of someone not long for this world. There's blood in her hair. Her mouth hangs open as if trying to speak or breathe or both, and failing at either. Oak, you burst in behind Laz, eyes sweeping the room with sharp, immediate calculation. The fluorescent lights slice through the scene, cold and clinical. A nurse at the reception desk lifts her eyes and freezes mid-sentence. Whatever words she was saying caught in her throat. Her mouth opens, then she snaps into motion. She grabs the phone, and her voice echoes over the intercom. Code Crimson! Triage! Bay 1! Stat! The room comes alive. From the hallway, a pair of orderlies charge in, one tall and wiry, the other, older, heavier, grunting with effort, as they wheel a battered gurney across the tile. A trauma nurse flanks them, pulling gloves over her wrists with a loud snap as they converge on you, Laz. Rosie is grabbed from your arms without hesitation. One of her arms swings loose as they lay her flat on the gurney. Her fingers trail across your cheek and neck, smearing you with a final streak of red. Is she conscious? Someone calls out from behind the gurney as they shove it into motion. Unresponsive! GCS-3, the trauma nurse snaps. No verbal, no motor, no eye opening. She's circling the drain, people. Another nurse leans over Rosie's body, fingers pressed into her neck. Carotid's weak, thready pulse, sats dropping. She's barely perfusing. One of the orderlies yanks open the front of her shirt with a rip of soaked fabric. Holy hell, he mutters. Probable GSW to upper right chest. Entry only, no exit. The trauma nurse doesn't blink. She's already slapping down gauze. Occlusive dressing now! A clear plastic square seals over the wound with trembling fingers. But blood is already pushing past the edges. Sucking chest wound confirmed. Decreased breath sounds right side. We need a chest tube tray. Bleeding's massive, someone else says, eyes wide. BP's tanking. She's hemorrhaging out. The trauma nurse climbs onto the gurney, straddling Rosie's narrow torso, both hands stacked above her sternum. Starting compression. She's crashing. The sounds of CPR echo off the hallway walls. Prep for thoracostomy, right side, second intercostal, the trauma nurse shouts. We're losing her. O2 sats at 62, pupils are sluggish. Let's move! Push a unit of O negative. Get a trauma surgeon down here now! Heart rate's dropping, bradying down. She's going into cardiac arrest! Move, move, move! The gurney pivots fast, and for a split second, you catch one final glimpse of Rosie as they push her towards the double doors. Her head has lolled to the side. Her eyes are open, just a sliver, glassy and unfocused. Her lips have turned blue. Her skin is terrifying, bloodless and gray-blue at the edges. A thin string of saliva clings to her bottom lip. One of Rosie's arms flaps over the edge of the gurney as they shove through the trauma bay doors, fingers curled loosely, blood still dripping from them. They crash through the doors, and she's gone. Laz, you instinctively take a half step forward as if to follow them. A nurse, tall, broad, face lined with stress, steps in your way and plants a hand on your chest. You're gonna have to stay here. They're taking her straight into surgery. She's in good hands. The doors swing once, then settle. The hospital waiting room is suddenly still, eerily so. The only sound is the faint buzz of overhead lights and the tinny murmur of foreigners waiting for a girl like you playing quietly from a radio at the nurse's desk. You stand there unmoving. Laz, your shirt clings to you, soaked and streaked. Rosie's blood is everywhere. On your chest, down your forearms, across the back of your hands and under your nails. It drips off your fingertips, leaving dark red droplets on the pristine floor tiles. The blood has started to dry in places, tacky and uncomfortable, but there's still heat to it, though its warmth, Rosie's warmth, is fading quickly. The two of you stand there unmoving. but your eyes stay fixed on the doors, on the spot where Rosie disappeared, as if you can still see her. Behind those doors, Rosie is dying, and there's nothing left to do but wait. Oak and Laz, what do you do?
So I know you said that this orderly put a hand on Laz's chest, and that we were still, but Laz was anything but still. He would have gone to move after this gurney, not wanting to leave Rosie's side, and it would have taken probably at least 2 orderlies to keep him from going through those doors. He probably hit one of them. Might not have really done much, but he's freaking out.
Go ahead and make a I guess it would be a fight. Make a fight check versus Braun.
Right. That's an 8.
I don't have trauma nurse as a
So strong, yeah.
I'm thinking. Okay. Incidentally, what was your fight die?
A D12.
Okay.
Laz is
Grab
scrappy.
Forgot where my dice are. This is a big orderly. The initial one that put a hand on you, and does have a. That's weird. Huh.
A D20, bro.
No, my entire. For whatever reason, I didn't check this beforehand.
Oh no, you have to use physical
I'm gonna
dice.
have
like
to
us
use
chumps.
real dice because
Yay! I trust them better more anyway.
My dice thing just shows that all the dice are active, and I can't click on any of them.
Uh-oh.
So I will have
If
to
the site
troubleshoot
is
that
down.
lately.
Real dice FTW.
So I'm gonna grab these appropriate white dice with blood splatters all over them.
Oh,
Just any D4 would probably work, Jake.
D4. I'm rolling a D20.
God damn.
oh God, he's a grown ass man. He's got.
What
dad
did you get?
strength.
An 8.
Okay.
Nurse Swole over here.
The nurse gets a 12. So
I'll show you the trauma.
So it's more that in this scene, what
I am
what
the
this
front desk.
means is you've narrated exactly what you tried doing.
Yeah.
But the first nurse takes the hit, and they're an older nurse. We've established they're a little bit bigger, and this isn't the first time they've seen something like this. They take the hit, but they still hold you, and they do call another orderly over who comes running over to help restrain you and keep you back. And as you're fighting, you get a little bit closer to the doors, and you see through those tall, narrow windows, as with the trauma nurse still on the gurney doing chest compressions, as the gurney disappears around a corner. And then a moment later, you can see somebody in scrubs quickly running from a cross hallway and running to follow.
I think Laz is like yelling Rosie's name over and over again, so loudly and so frequently that his voice is doing that thing that like a teenage boy's does whenever he's stressing it real hard. It starts to actually like squeak and like cut out.
Oak.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I think just as you described, like there's that moment where I think we're both standing parallel in the hallway or watching this, and then Laz erupts into his fit of rage, as you would. Oak wants to erupt into a fit of rage, but I think he's in such trauma in this moment that he stands stuck for quite a while, and then when he starts to see Laz like chomping at the bit, there's that moment where he realizes he has to step in and he has to be Laz's support. So you watch as you're fighting off these grown men, you watch as two small hands wrap around your waist and pull you backwards. Hey, Laz, you listen to me, okay?
What, man? What?
What are you gonna do, man?
I don't
You're gonna
fucking
fight
know.
You're gonna fight every one of these nurses in here to get through there? Yeah, you and me both. I will go ahead and I will scrap with you right now, but you understand me? They are doing what they can. We got her here. And right now, we can't do anything else.
But they said she's dying, Oak.
Brother, don't you know I know that? I know that, and every part of me wants to go in there and just do it. Be there with her, you and me, right there. I want to be there.
I can't do anything from here.
Yeah, because we're kids. We are kids. Laz, do you have a PhD? Do you have a degree to be able to help her right now? No,
I don't.
neither do I.
No.
Okay?
But I could do something. It's better than doing nothing.
You're right. You're absolutely right, okay? But at this very moment, there is nothing we can do. But wait. Because I don't... What do you want? The only thing I can think of is... I mean, maybe there's something that I can do, something that I can change. I don't know, but I've never seen something like this, man. And all I know is when I was in my own trauma, the only thing that saved me was the nurses, was the doctors. That's it. I didn't have any other recourse. He stops yelling at you, and he takes your hands, and I imagine your hands are literally shaking and trembling. You watch as his hands
covered in blood.
Yeah, covered in blood. He takes your hands as well, and both of us, I think, are just in this tremor of shock. I know what you want because it's what I want too. But just take a moment to breathe and we will think this through. We will be okay. She will be okay. And I promise you, Laz, she will be okay. Because I swear if she's not, I will search every single goddamn door that I have to until there is a timeline where she is.
About this whole thing, everything's turned upside down and inside out. Everything's changing all the time. Nothing. I can't trust anything.
Yeah. And you know what? He kind of he steps away from you for just a second, not even too far away, because he wants to be there with you. He wants to, but when you're in a waiting room and you have a family member that's going through something, and you're now in the trauma, in the stress, and you're just pacing around the waiting room. That's this moment between the two of them. He goes, yeah, I know. And I feel like every single bad thing that has happened to all of you, it's all my fault. It's all my fault.
Oh, I don't think anybody thinks that, man.
Okay, maybe they don't.
Nobody blames you for any of this weird shit.
Maybe they don't, but I do. I blame myself for that.
And just a second ago, you said that we couldn't do anything because we were nothing but kids.
Right, we are
So
kids.
how the fuck
but-
can you blame us for being kids, man?
Because
You
I
didn't
don't
do
know.
nothing wrong.
I've lost track of time. Okay? I've lost track of time. And one night I'm sitting there with you on a summer night. All of us are together. Everybody's happy, wonderful. We're having a good time. We're getting to know each other. And then the next thing I know is we're getting in trouble. Algernon, of all people, is practically killing me. And then I have to find a way to get us out of there. So I do something stupid. And what does it do? It sends us to another iteration. And then the same thing happens again and again and again.
Oak, we've been in danger since we came to Paradise.
Well, then it isn't much of a paradise, is it?
No, it's fucking not. If I had paid to go on this vacation, I'd want my money back.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, in spite of everything getting fucked from this way and that way, including this, he kind of gestures towards the door. The only constant throughout any of it has been you guys. Rosie, you,
Yeah.
Coop, Jess,
Yeah.
Billy. Is the only thing that I could count on through this whole fucking mess, you know? And now it may not be the six of us anymore.
Don't say that. Because like I told you, I don't care what I have to do. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Okay, no, we can figure this out. We can figure this out. It's okay. We can he walks over to the receptionist desk. And I imagine there's like a clipboard there with like a fill out, like a little fill out pamphlet for bringing in people. And he'll just grab it off the desk and he'll flip the paperwork over so it's a clean sheet of paper. And you just watch him start scribbling things on like what route can he take? What doors could we go through? How could we, how could we do whatever we're gonna do? Let's make a plan. You and me, we're gonna double dragons this, right? Like we're gonna battle toads this, we're gonna double dragons this, like we're gonna do whatever we gotta do to be like the tag team superheroes that we gotta be to keep Rosie alive. And so I think that Oak is just like trying to make these plans, but you can see he is so shattered right now. That like he is crying, there's blood on him there, and he's looking at you and he's seeing you, someone who he sees as his brother, being the most vulnerable he's ever been with Oak. And he's just trying so hard to support you and make sure that you don't break, because if you break, he breaks. He's like, okay, so I got the key. I got Coop's keys. I've got time on my side. We can figure this out. You and I could go through different doors, and maybe we could find a door that gets us through those doors on that side. Maybe we could find a way to get into the room with her. Maybe there's
Oak.
Yeah.
We'll figure something out, I'm sure, if we have to. But right now, if you'll just sit here with me.
Yeah, but of course. Yeah. Kind of looks at you. He like squeezes your hand as you get him to sit down finally.
I think Laz like puts his arm like over Oak's shoulders and just kind of like leans against him with his back kind of against a pillar or a couch or wherever it is that they've managed to kind of find a seat on the floor, facing the doors. He just sits there staring at him.
Yeah. I think there's one final thing that Oak says before we like cut away from it. And he goes, "Hey, I think I've made a decision, though, no matter what happens, no matter what we decide to do. I think I don't want you to leave her. I don't want you to leave her side. So if it comes down to it, and it's not something you and I can do together, I want you to stay here with her. And I want to go see Algernon. I want to see him face to face. And I'm going to kick his ass. I'm going to kick his ass for Coop. I'm going to kick his ass for you. I'm going to kick his ass for Rosie. And I don't want anybody else to get hurt. I'm so tired of people getting hurt, Les. So tired of people getting hurt on my account. And then I think that's when he kind of curls into you. And then we sort of fade out from there.
We see the two of you sort of leaning into one another, sitting on sitting on these sort of off-white plastic chairs, the kind that are all bolted to the same bar as a series of connected waiting room chairs. The camera sort of pans back. We're seeing the two of you from behind the waiting room off to the far right of this room. The nurse's station on the left-hand side. We see the antiseptic white walls of this trauma center. You see the doubled doors that they took Rosie through. On the right is a single clock ticking slowly, adding to that relative silence in the room. And that was on the right. And on the left is the door that you came through. And right before it fades, as the screen holds, we see that the door that you came through and the double doors leading back further into the medical facility are green doors with brass handles. Rosie. Rosie, you are sitting at your bedroom vanity, looking into, actually, correction, it's not your bedroom, Jessica's bedroom. You are sitting in front of the mirror as somebody is brushing your hair. You have your face done with makeup, and we can see over your shoulder in the reflection the dress that you're going to wear, the big dance. It is the night of the big dance, and you and Jessica, or more accurately, you and Anne, are preparing. Anne is helping you. Now, this part I don't remember. I don't remember if at this point you knew that it was Anne, or that you were choosing not to acknowledge that. But I do believe
I didn't know.
You believe that this is Jessica.
Mm-hmm.
But this is that night, as the camera sort of pans back a little bit, and we see Anne brushing your hair. What are the two of you talking about as you get ready?
I imagine, for a time, it's just talk about. I think at that time we were talking about Jimmy and whether or not he would call. And I think it's kind of very dreamlike in that way that Rosie doesn't kind of remember how she got here or like anything surrounding this event, but she's just here and she's in it and it's fine. So I think she's probably talking about that and wondering if he'll make it, and if he doesn't, what am I going to do? Am I even going to go? And da-da-da. And Rosie's, again, sharing kind of wearing her heart on her sleeve with Anne now, about being self-conscious. Like, what if people see me and because they've never seen me with makeup on before and they've never seen me in a dress before, and like, what if they laugh? And Anne is being reassuring. They're not going to laugh. They're never going to laugh at the pretty girl in the dress and da-da-da-da-da. I think that this is all replaying very, very similarly to the way it did the first time. And I think there's a comfort for Rosie in this. This was just a very peaceful and, in the grand scheme of things, joyful memory.
The phone rings.
Can I chime in?
Sure.
Does Rosie have, like, is she just in the moment, or is this like looking back?
I don't think we know.
For Rosie,
This is
well, like
it's weird.
Like
it's
she
almost
said,
like it's happening for the first time,
Yeah.
but there's a weird comfort.
Yeah,
like
there's
I know
definitely-
everything that's about to happen.
there's a weird air of familiarity about it. There's this comfort, and there's that air of, I don't know how I got here. So it's safe to say that this is some kind of a memory of the moment.
So does this, whether it be now or later, does this change any of the viewpoints for Rosie of, her thoughts of Anne, considering how supportive she was and yada yada stuff?
I don't think that's coming up right now in Rosie's mind. I think that this is just might as well be Jessica. There maybe is like a very tangential awareness that this isn't, but it's kind of like when you're just about ready to fall asleep and you remember
Sure.
something that you got to put in your bag for the morning, but you're like, I'm not getting up.
I'm
So
just
it's
trying to
kinda
throw
like-
oil on the floor.
No, absolutely.
no.
Absolutely.
Great
No.
point.
It doesn't change my opinion. Nah.
So the pink translucent phone on Jessica's nightstand begins ringing,
Mhm.
and she looks at you and she goes, maybe that's Jimmy. And she answers it. She picks it up and she hands you the receiver. Talk to him.
And Rosie like grabs it and like thinks for a second, like frantically, and just goes, "Hi, it's Rosie," and then just like immediately puts the phone back in her chest. Stupid. Hey.
You hear on the other end, BP's dropping. She's hypertensive and tachycardic. We're losing volume. Clamp that bleeder. I've got arterial spray. Likely intercostal. Chest cavity's compromised. Prep for thoracotomy now. Suction. We've got hemothorax filling fast. She's coding. Charge to 200. Clear. And as you hear clear,
face is just like
Rosie, as you hear clear,
horror.
you are launched backwards across the bed.
Oof.
And that's where we're going to cut from this scene. That's all you get for now.
Oh, that's all you get.
That's all you get
That's like,
for now.
Thanks. Oh Jesus. Oh, God.
As
One bite.
there's this, as they say, charge 200, clear, and we hear the pzzz. We see Rosie launched backwards, and imagine the camera following her for a moment, and as it whip pans, we're outside that hole of hands. There's a flash of light as the flashlight there's a flash of light as the flashlight moves away from the directly pointing at the camera, and we are in that exact moment of or not flashlight, it was a lantern, but where Mouse is holding the lantern down, and Coop and Billy and Jessica, you see the bones of the body of Coop down in the handy hole.
Wow. Wow. There's no good name for
Nope.
this area.
Just like hand stuff, holes are becoming a thing on this channel.
Incredible. And, oh yeah, all over the place. A lot of holes.
I'm tired, Grandpa. Just keep digging.
That's too damn bad.
So, Billy, Coop, and Jessica.
Aw, Beans, is that me?
Billy,
This is it.
Jessica,
This is where I
and
die.
Mouse just kind of holds the lantern and then holds it to look at you and back down there, back at you. I told you. I don't have any idea what's happening.
Supposed to do now.
Well, we should go after them, right?
Well, where they're going, I don't think we can follow.
Well, we should at least try to get back to the same timeline.
Even know what timeline they're in.
Jess looks to Coop. This is far beyond her.
Coop sees just looking at him, and he just shrugs. Don't look at me, I'm not the smart one. And he kind of nods at Billy.
Now, refresh my memory. What did we see as they vanished? Like,
So Oak used his time powers to create a bubble around him and Laz and Rosie, and what you saw was them go and speed away. To them, it felt like they were moving at normal speed, but everything else had slowed down. You all saw them move very rapidly towards the lighthouse. You were en route to a hidden boat so you could row over to the shipwreck and meet up with Algernon before all of this happened and Jessica got shot. Then,
so if I think that they were heading towards the lighthouse, I will very skeptically say, well, I mean, we could head the direction they went. Looks like they were going to the lighthouse, but I don't have any control over the doors. We could go through it and it could dump us wherever it feels like. What do you guys want to do?
Well, we can either go to the lighthouse and hope that they are able to save Rosie and they meet us there. Or we can go and confront Algernon. That hasn't been working out so good so far, though.
Not a great
I don't want to
mean-
go visit Algernon.
like I said, it seems like this island is trying to keep that meeting from happening.
At the mention of Algernon, I just kind of go blank for like 10 seconds. As Billy is still in a bit of war within his own mind as the direction that he is supposed to be going or could be going. And he really doesn't want to go see Algernon because he doesn't know what that's going to look like. So when like that pregnant pause happens and I get this sense that like people are kind of looking at me, waiting for some kind of response.
Given what just happened right before and during the first part of this handhole, Mouse is looking at you very concerned. The fact that you've just suddenly stopped speaking and are staring off into space. Because that's what happened to her.
Right. You got the bug.
In fact, she's holding the lantern up really close to your face and is starting to reach out to poke you.
So I come to with this, finger coming at me, and I'll just kind of like glower down at her.
Which, given that you currently have the lower half of a wolf a werewolf, because you had transformed your lower half so that you could leap out of the hole.
Yep.
She very quickly pulls her hand back. She does
I'm
say,
sorry. This
she does say to you, look, my role in all of this is just to facilitate whatever it is you want to do. If you want to go see Algernon, fine. If you don't, fine. We can go back to the camp, go back to the lighthouse.
I don't
Go back
I don't
to the
think any of us
lighthouse.
really. I don't think any of us really want to go see Algernon unless we're all together.
Nope. Let's go back to the lighthouse. Maybe Amelia has some information about this that might have washed up. If she still has any information after the winds and stuff.
What do you think, Jess?
Yeah, well, you're right. We don't know where Rosie and the others have gone, so let's just go talk to him. And if we don't like what he says, we can, I don't know, you can bite him or something.
So you want to go to Algernon without the others?
She shrugs. I don't want anything else to happen while we wait around.
Well, if
Sure.
we do decide to go see Algernon, it's kind of like seeing the wizard. I mean, we've got brains and courage and heart, I guess.
Oh my god.
So cute.
That is so sweet.
And Mouse.
And Mouse is here too. He can be Dorothy.
Just like
Is
Toto.
Mouse Dorothy or is Mouse Toto?
That's a great. Oh my god.
I mean, let's
amazing.
be real, Billy. Wouldn't you be Toto?
You're the dog.
Mouse is
You're the dog.
Dorothy, duh. She's a woman.
Just is standing right fucking there. Bro. Oh my god.
Coop is digging himself quite the pit of
The
hands.
analogy worked for just a
Yeah,
second, and then
holy
everyone's
damn.
like, wait.
The shame hole as opposed to the hand hole.
Yeah.
They're right next to each other.
Mouse has no idea what you're talking about. Wizard of
Oh, yeah,
Oz
right.
Wizard of Oz won't be published as a book for another 45 years.
Oh yeah, huh? But I will say though that if the lighthouse is the only place on the island with a green door, he kind of looks quizzically at Mouse for confirmation that's the only way they can come back.
She did confirm that in the previous session, that was the only place on the island with a green door.
I don't really like either option. I don't want to go through the door and get sent wherever they feel like, sending us. I'm tired of this place just constantly messing with us, and at the same time, I don't like Algernon, and without all of us here, I'm afraid of what might wind up happening.
But at the same time, what are we supposed to do in the meantime? Dodge holes? Dodge Algernon?
Right, well, I don't think this is a good idea, but this is what you want, Jess. Let's go.
She just shrugs. She's like, what do you think? No, don't just be passive like that. Because then you're going to blame me when shit hits the fan, which it ultimately will.
Everything, it's the fan. He starts to go and ramble. Like every sentence he goes to start, it just seems like it's like he wants to go in a direction and he censors himself, so it just comes out as stuttering for a moment. We've been playing response for however long it's been. I don't even know anymore. And even when we feel like we're taking the offensive, we're not, and we realize that we're just being puppeted around. So one course of action is just as good as another.
Looking back and forth between Billy and Jessica.
Mommy and Daddy are
do
fighting.
they seem a little hostile towards each other? I'm picking up a little hostility.
You have to make a check. It's a DC of 1.
I don't think Billy is hostile towards Jessica. And I don't know if this is an insight roll for the GM. It's clear that the infatuation or whatever used to exist between Billy and Jessica isn't there anymore. He's not so interested in pleasing anymore. He's I guess just saying it as it comes out, but like he's definitely censoring himself to not hurt her feelings.
So she looks at him. So then, what would you like to do?
I'd rather not go on a boat.
See, she like points to Coop, and she's like, Coop says he doesn't want to go on a boat. We're not going to go on a boat.
Okay, well, the boat was how we got to Algernon.
Well, I'm pretty sure Algernon will come to us, if anything.
Just stand at the beach and start
Yeah,
yelling,
He
"Hey!"
should come to
So,
us.
options that have been presented: we go seek out a conversation with Algernon, for good or for ill. We go to the lighthouse and we play roulette with the green door. We head back to camp and we wait, or we try to find some kind of clue or something here that we might be able to do something with. I've lost track of the different paths and things that we're trying to do, because every time we turn around, powers gets used and we're sent somewhere else with new objectives and new things. I just don't know anymore. I don't know how to just get back to our time and try to live a normal life. That's all I
She
want
shakes
right
her
now.
head. She's like, well, I'm sorry, but that is not going to happen ever. Even if we were to miraculously get back right now and everything, we would be different. We are fundamentally never going to be the same anymore, Billy. And the
I'm
quicker
aware.
you... Oh, it doesn't sound like it. It sounds like you just want to, I don't know, let other people make decisions, and then when it goes bad, she like throws her hands up in the air.
I don't play the blame game.
She laughs at that.
Hey, Jacob.
Okay.
While they're arguing and me and Mouse are just kind of standing there looking back and forth, Coop wants to surface scrape some thoughts from them.
Oh.
Excuse me? What?
What is it? I want to use my power to try to figure out what they're both thinking at the surface while they're arguing and distracted.
Wow.
So
That's a
I'm going to say that the initial surface scraping of their thoughts, because they are actively engaged with each other, is going to make it easier for you to glean those. But I would like you... Well, first, I would like each Billy and Jessica to roll a brains check.
Yes.
I got a 5.
5 for
I got a 5
Jess.
as well.
Okay,
Oh my god, that's perfect.
Coop.
It's very
you
fitting.
can use your power tokens. So you get a free power token, but this is so the use of the power is not being does not have anything to do with the power token use. This is to determine whether or not Billy and Jessica sent you poking around in there.
Oh.
Gotcha.
You're muted, Tamiko.
Oh, okay. The freebie first one is a 3.
Okay.
I'm going to roll a couple more because what is it? We can usually get about 2 or 3 in before bad things start to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
All right,
far,
that
nobody.
explodes.
So far, nobody has had repercussions for using their powers. Since you've been in 1855.
I'd prefer not to be the first.
If you
Jacob,
don't count the whole dying thing.
especially using them against my friends. So,
Well, this
Oh
is.
yeah, that too.
so the first one exploded, or technically second. So that's a 6. So that's 9. Are you, Carrie? You want to keep track, or somebody?
I'm sorry. So
So-
yeah. So 9 on what? How many?
One.
1.
9 on 1. Got it.
Plus 3. So that's still
12 on
one.
2.
Still on
Oh,
one.
12 on 1.
This is the second one, and that's a 4. And I'm stopping.
Okay, so 16.
on 2.
16 on 2. So
Pretty damn good.
what I'm going to do now is flip it. As you start poking around in there, I may decide, depending on how long you poke around in there, to have them roll brains checks again. Nope. Roll their dice again. I don't know. I don't know why
Roll
those.
the
That combination
today.
of words. Roll brains checks again to determine if they can exceed your DC to know you're poking around in there. But at this point, while this conversation and argument, whatever discussion is happening between Jessica and Billy, each of you, what is your true thoughts about the other in this conversation or anything that's happening right now?
You want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
You go first.
All right. So Billy is frustrated, and it's obvious in the way he's talking, but it's not like frustrated at Jess when she brings up, the blame. There is probably like a momentary mental rage, and I'll get into his response to that. But the multiple layers of thought are the frustration at we don't ever have control about what is going on. He doesn't want to do any of the options that are presented. He feels that while he inserted himself into kind of like the leader role, there's times that it gets daunting. At the thoughts of seeing Algernon, it's a multitude of layers and thoughts of just this is too dangerous to touch right now, especially alone. It's dangerous, not only for us, but potentially for like me specifically. Like he there's some indecision on what that conversation would be.
Cool. Jessica?
I think for like poetic sake, like Jessica, it's like a very mirrored image to Jessica's feelings of, like, it's very much the classic, like, teenager has big emotions, feels very frustrated about a situation, and is taking it out on the closest thing that she can take it out on. It's very similar in that, you know, she is also, like, very frustrated at the situation, at the fact that we are not able to make a decision that we can feel like we have control over, and she is really frustrated that Billy is acting like very, like, passive about it, just like very, like, defeated in a way, because I think that's how Jess wants to feel too, but she's kind of fighting it, and maybe there's a little bit of guilt that Jess feels about also just wanting to, like, give up, and so she perceives Billy as also wanting to just give up, and so that, like, makes her a little angry, but I think that anger is amplified just by, like, the situation.
So you're seeing it as Billy as like a mirror?
Yeah.
So, you know, kind of like, you know, piggybacking on that, you know, when we came to 1855, you know, we came through the water, and Billy did the scout thing of helping build a fire and directing people to, you know, stay warm and this and that. But pretty much after those moments, like, he has kind of taken a back seat, you know, being indecisive and, you know, allowing others to do things because of that. So I don't know if any of that frustration that, you know, we're not Rosie Jess is, you know, thinking about or seeing, like, maybe some of those moments of where Billy is used to, you know, basically inserting an opinion, and an educated one at that, you know. um there's less of that here.
I will also say that Jess was oh no, she was present for when they all landed in the water. I was trying to remember when Jess got separated from everyone, but I think it was after that watery entry. I'll never say that again.
Listen, I say things like handy hole and hole of hands.
Yeah, you know.
You're fine.
You do.
So yeah, I think, yeah, absolutely, Jess is like, I think Jess is also thinking back to, like, Billy being really upset at their decision with Anne, and has been, like, very dismissive, particularly of her since then. So I think that is where her anger is also lying too.
So looping things back to the actual conversation. So, you know, when I say, you know, I'm not one to place the blame, and you're like, oh yeah, really? You know, he gets red in the face, like, not angry at you, but, like, frustrated that he's been called out. Like, all right, that was one moment, and I don't want to have that argument now. Yes, and I feel it's justified.
Okay, so Coop's taken all this in, and what is it? And I kind of feel, if Ted will allow it, I kind of feel like also it's like Randall Flagg in The Stand. He also, as he lets go of their minds, he just has this picture of the moon from Billy for some reason, but he kind of brushes it off as, well, he's a werewolf. Of course he's
I don't have a problem with you know, pulling out a moon from my head. Honestly, like, brains is Billy's, best thing. And, I definitely have played him as, someone who is always thinking about a lot of different things. So it could beg the question of, yep, he's got to get to the moon at some point in time.
So
But that's not what Coop gets. Coop just gets an image of the moon because you're kind of thinking that you really want to get to the moon, but he only gets the image and he thinks that it's because you're a werewolf.
So, given all of this information, with Coop basically using a cheat code to gain the subtext of an argument or conversation, what are you doing with this information that you're pulling off of these two while they're
Thank you for asking, Jacob.
fighting?
Great question.
What is it? So in the middle, when it looks like they're stopping to breathe and maybe start up at each other again, Coop steps in the middle and goes, "Whoa, okay. So I'm picking up a little bit of anger and frustration happening here. So
Quiet
I'm going to go
coyotes.
ahead and make a decision." And knowing what he knows about Billy being frustrated with the mundanity and the of always taking the leadership role, Coop is going to attempt to take the leadership role. He's
All
gonna
right.
say,
So when Coop steps in and says, "Hold on a second," I imagine, because I've got this awesome visual of the little 12-year-old stepping up to say
11.
something. I'm sorry, 11-year-old.
Correction.
The two teenagers just simultaneously turn and just give you this look.
Look down.
And
Right,
what
so
do
go
you
for it.
what do you say, Coop?
Okay, look,
Lead the way.
I'm getting that the two of you are a little frustrated, maybe a little angry, and that's okay. But we're having trouble making a decision. So I think, because I do not want to go into a boat, that we're gonna put a pin in Algernon for now, and we're gonna instead go to the lighthouse. While we're there, I don't think the keys are active after you've used them. Like the power kind of follows the keys around. So the green door is probably just going to go into the regular lighthouse where probably maybe Amelia is, unless something killed her. Who could say? So we can just hang out with Amelia for a second, wait to see if they come back, because it shouldn't take super long. I figure Oak would try to bring them back to around the same time if he can. But yeah, that's my plan. What do you think?
Okay with that, Jess?
Yeah. Fine. She
Miss
says
Mouse?
in
Can you take us back to the lighthouse, please?
Jessica very clearly said that with her words, but did not mean it.
I had to throw in like the very teenage girl, like snippy shutdown.
I like to think
Well-
that Jessica was doing exactly what you were doing too, was occupying herself by pulling her hair back and tightening up, and just yeah.
So when Coop turns to Mouse and say, "Can you take us to the lighthouse?" Billy will just kind of like shift back to his normal, completely human form, and just begins trudging in the direction that I saw Coop vanish off towards. And he'll go slow. It's not like he's trying to like trudge to be in front, but he needs to be moving right now.
Coop. Actually, I'm not gonna have you roll. I'm gonna
for the
roll.
record, Coop just wants to be anywhere except by this hole where his future self is lying dead.
Where the corpse is? Yeah, his corpse.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know.
that's reasonable. Hey, well, Jake's clearly consulting a table. Check us out on redbubble.com. At redbubble.com, we got all kinds of cool logos that you can get on t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, mugs, like the one I'm wearing and the one Tamiko's wearing and the one Jeremy is wearing. You can get it on stickers and pillows and notebooks and postcards and all kinds of other cool stuff. There's almost always a deal on redbubble.com, especially if it's your first time shopping with them. So check us out, redbubble.com. Just search Mini Terrain Domain.
So, thank you, Carrie. I was rolling a D8 brains versus your DC 16 as you were scraping surface thoughts. And as the four of you turn to start heading toward the lighthouse, and Billy sort of starts trudging off, Mouse passes right by you, Coop, kind of brushes against your shoulder a little bit, and you just pick up, right before you sort of cut off your intentional surface thoughts, you catch from Mouse, all right, it looks like we're coming towards you now. And it's completely in her mind.
Oh.
And that's where we're going to switch scenes.
What? Oh, Coop fucking mind reader?
We are now
Oh.
back in the trauma center waiting room. At least an hour or two has gone by. Oak and Laz, the two of you, in your post adrenaline state, the two of you you're either sleeping or you are very just sort of resignedly sitting there, eyes closed or thinking or whatever, when you hear a door open and you hear footsteps on the tile, and Laz, somebody begins walking quickly towards you, and you hear, "Oh my gosh, look at you! Are you okay?" And it's your mom's voice, Jeannie Eccles.
Oh.
As she approaches you, and it's the Jeannie Eccles that is just, you can tell from the way she looks and the way she's dressed, this is the successful musician, the successful drummer and leader of the band Lazarus. As she comes rushing up to you, and she doesn't just grab you, Laz. She crouches in front of both of you and puts her arms, one around Laz and one around Oak, and just kind of pulls you both in close. "Oh my gosh, are you two okay?"
Huh? What are you doing here?
From behind Jeannie, back over by the door, you hear another voice say, "I called her." As Ashley Raven walks into the ER and closes the door behind her. She leans over and begins talking to the nurse, who quickly picks up a phone and makes a call. As Jeannie kind of releases the two of you and says, she's kind of like, just like, what are you wearing? You're both still wearing these coveralls and work boots. And she reaches at her side, she slides off it's merch. It's a Lazarus branded duffel bag. And she says, "I've got here." And she starts pulling out a pair of black jeans and a Star Wars shirt, a fresh pair of Converse. But as she hands this stuff, clean underwear, socks, all the whole shebang, she hands that to you, Laz. She reaches in the bag and she pulls out the same thing, fresh jeans and shirts, underwear, socks, shoes for you as well, Oak. And I would like both of you to make me a grit check, please.
Ooh. What? That's a weird
Emperor's
check
New
to make in
Clothes
this
over here?
moment.
Yep, you're going to be making a grit check.
Oh, hey. That's an 18, Chief.
Okay. That's very good.
So I have a D6. I rolled a 1.
So I will tell you before you start wanting to spend pops.
Yep.
This is not a bad thing if you fail it. It's going to indicate how well you handle. And I think it's appropriate that you rolled very low, Chad.
Okay. Great. That's
Because
great
what
news.
happens as you each take these clothes is it's the same sensation that has happened every time you have entered into a new iteration. Except there doesn't seem to be any indication of an iteration change. The only thing that changed is you going through this door and then your mom suddenly showing up a couple hours later. Laz, you get hit with a flood of new memories and they begin competing with all of your previous memories. But the memories are not all that different than they were previously when you entered Paradise Academy iteration. You have all of your Paradise Academy memories, but you also remember that it's almost the end of the school year and summer vacation is about to happen, and that you and your friends were all planning to nobody's family was planning any big vacation, so everybody was staying in Paradise, and you and your friends were just planning on what you were going to do this summer while you hung out here. And these memories, to whatever degree you want to, with that 18, you don't have to show any visible signs that you just experienced this shift. However, Oak, the same thing happens to you, and the reason that it's good that you rolled a 1 is something that shifted, and this is, I think, the last memory that sort of settles into your mind, Laz, that is completely new from everything else, is as this memory is settling into Oak's mind. In this iteration, Oak, the tragic car accident in which your parents and your sisters were killed still happened. But it is the Eccles family that not only took you in, but adopted you.
Oh.
And you and Laz are actually brothers.
Oh.
What do you do as this information floods into your mind?
Oh.
Both of you.
Jake, you son of a bitch. I don't like actually physically crying on camera, but fuck. This is something I've wanted for this character forever, so like legitimately this role works out great. There is this moment where Jeannie handing Oak the clothes, it's almost like, how do I describe it? Like an emotional shotgun hits his chest. And there's this wave that sort of careens. We watch, I think in his head, we watch the car, we watch everything, but then that sort of like fades off. And then it's replaced again by another car crash. Same exact thing. We watch as everything happens. We watch as Laz and Jeannie and his family are with him for their funerals. We watch as the slow progression of Jeannie deciding to adopt him, them going through that whole process. We watch all of that. And then there's this moment where I think he's seeing the past versions of what was, and then seeing what is current. And there's that moment where all of these sort of blend together and you don't know exactly which one you want to hold on to. But in this moment, because it's a peaceful memory, because it's something that he can tangibly hold on to, he gives into it. And instead of trying to say that, no, I have a mom, or I have a dad, I have sisters, and I have all this, you watch him sort of like collapse into her and say, Mom, so glad you're here. Thank you so much. I don't know what to do for him. I didn't know. And now we've been sitting here for, kind of looks over to Lass. How long have we been here?
I don't know. Feels like years, maybe.
Yeah. It can't be that long. But
Laz is like glaring at Ashley Raven as he's like putting these clothes on because he thinks that she's got something to do with
she's
this
got something to do with the
shift.
whole thing. Yeah.
So Jeannie is shushing you, Oak, and holding you close, and she says, and I think Jeannie calls you Oak.
Yeah.
Because she knows that's how you're called by all your friends and what you go by, and she holds you close and she shushes you and she says, honey, Oak, you don't need to know what to do. You're a kid. You're kids. It's our job as your parents and your protectors to decide what to do. You don't need to worry yourself about that. Lass, since you are getting changed and eyeballing Ashley, you watch as she moves to the end of the reception desk, closest to where the swinging doors are, and she seems to do so expectantly. She does not notice that you are staring her down, but she's watching the doors. And within seconds of her moving to stand at the end of this desk, a surgeon wearing scrubs, the face mask, the head covering, the whole shebang, still has the like surgical gown over top as well, which you can see is just smeared with blood. And this surgeon seems irritated to have been called out here to deal with Ashley. And you see the two of them back and forth, very quietly. And she finally says, and you see that she never once kind of even though this man is taller than her, she never once backs down away from him. And you can tell that she's with the confidence that you know that Ashley Raven has. She is assessing, or rather asserting herself and making sure that what she says needs to be done is done. And the surgeon just throws his hands in the air and shakes his head. And he turns and walks over towards you. He takes a big sigh. And he reaches up and he pulls his mask off, and it's Dr. Devin Sharp. And he says, Your friend is not doing well. We're doing everything we can. We've done everything we can.
Are you doing everything that you can?
We are doing everything that we can to make sure that she survives.
It's because of all of y'all that she's in this fucking mess. You did this to us.
I didn't pull the trigger on whatever gun shot her in the chest and left no bullet behind. I don't know where you've been or what you've been doing. Do you want to know what your friend's state is?
Yeah.
Rosie's dying. And we are doing everything we can to stop that. For whatever reason, her healing factor is not working. Something has happened to all of you. You have been out of our sights and our ability to even know where you are for a very long time. And apparently when you were. And he glances down at Oak. And you notice a little bit more, Oak, that when Dr. Sharp came over, Jeannie tensed up a little bit. And she's standing next to you, and she still has her hands on your shoulders. And she's kind of looking between Sharp and Laz. She's as stable as we can make her right now. We had to put her in a medically induced coma.
A what?
She is going to have the best care that she could possibly have. But we are going to have to keep her here under our observation. There's no medical facilities or hospitals in this state, let alone in this county or town, that can handle the kind of care she needs.
And what if Oak could take us to the future somewhere where they do have that kind of technology, where they can do what you can? Is that possible?
It's dangerous.
More dangerous than this?
Yes. You and your friends have already been messing with timelines, creating paradoxes that we have been...
Because of you. I'm done. I'm done catering to... I'm done catering to adults who don't give a shit about us.
That's where you're wrong.
Oh, yeah?
If we didn't give a shit about you, why would we be trying so hard to save her?
Because we're your lab rats.
Yeah, you gotta keep us alive to keep doing whatever you want with us, right? If we die, you don't have anybody to experiment on anymore.
Wasted your profits if one of us dies. You've invested too much money and time into us.
Yeah.
That's why you care.
We're an asset. That's all we are. Why do you think we ran?
Because you don't understand anything.
What am I not
happening.
Understanding?
There's so much that you don't understand. There are things that you can't even comprehend that are taking place. This isn't about money.
You think it's not?
You're not assets. You've never been assets.
Jake, there's that moment, I think, in that moment when he says that, I want to refer back to what we just experienced. The way that Devin and the way that Darla were money crunching and like figuring out how to break down as many iterations as possible, all these things. Oak slaps him in the face with this reality. If that's true, then why did you push me so hard to break as many iterations as possible? Why did you do that? If we're nothing but just assets for your iteration.
He looks genuinely confused. What are you talking about?
Oh, so you don't know, but I do. Okay.
I know what you're capable of doing.
No, that's good.
And even you don't know what you're fully capable of doing.
Okay.
But I don't know where you get this notion that this has anything to do with money. Yes, we have money, and we have lots of money because it takes a lot of money to run facilities like this.
Sharp, I could try to explain this to you, but right now, I'm a 12-year-old boy. And right now, you don't give a shit what I say.
He looks at Ashley. I told you they weren't ready. She doesn't say anything. Sharp turns away from you, Oak. Glances at Jeannie. And then he looks you right in the eyes, Lass. I know that in previous iterations, I have done nothing but give you reasons to hate me. And if I'm being perfectly honest, you've not made it easy to like you. But you gotta believe me, son. This is all for you. All with your best interests in mind. All of you. And we are going to do everything in our power to save her. And when the time is right, and it's happening soon, sooner than you probably deserve, we're going to let you all know what's really going on.
You make good on your promise to do everything that you can by Rosie. And if she survives, maybe I won't think you're as enormous of a prick. Maybe. You telling me that you're not a prick, that doesn't help, because everything that you've done has shown me the exact opposite. Do this, and then we can fucking talk.
You see a flash in his eyes. For a moment, you see not Dr. Devin Sharp, the surgeon, or the scientist. You see Dr. Devin Sharp, the assistant principal. Just for a moment. And he looks like he wants to push that authority over you. But that slips away. And for the first time probably ever, you get the sense that you might actually be seeing the real Dr. Devin Sharp. As his posture, it's almost microscopic. It's like micro expressions. His posture slightly shifts. His face seems to slightly relax a little bit. And he looks you right in the eyes and he says, "Deal." Now, he turns to Jeannie. "I think you need to take these boys home. There's nothing more you can do here.
And if she wakes up, when she wakes up,
You'll be the first one we let know."
kind of resignedly like heads back over to where Oak and Jeannie are.
Mr. Kubrick, you have got, rightfully so, a lot pent-up anger. And knowing what you're capable of, I would suggest you practice taking some deep breaths, controlling your anger, before you start ripping holes in the space-time continuum that you can't undo.
Stares daggers into Devon's face. And I think there's this moment. Yeah. He goes, "You know what? I've been hearing adults tell me of a lot of things that I'm gonna regret, or that I can't do, or you don't want to do this. I'm starting to think that maybe I don't have to listen to anybody but me anymore. I ain't got to listen to anybody but me. And quite honestly, sir, Laz is right. If you don't make sure that Rosie comes back to us," and you watch as like there's that parallel as Laz is walking toward his mom, Oak is walking away from mom and walking toward Devon. "If you don't bring her back, the same thing that will happen to Algernon will happen to you, will happen to Ashley, will happen to everyone who gets in my way. And there is not a timeline in this universe where I will not rip you from it. Do you understand me?"
He considers you. You see him looking like he wants to say and starts to say 3 or 4 different things. And then he just, in a similar fashion, just and I know how hard this is going. Trust me. And he turns and he walks away from you and heads back. He doesn't even say anything to Ashley Raven. He just turns and heads back through the trauma doors. And this time, as the doors pushed open, it's the first time not being distracted by Rosie's near dead body being wheeled away on a gurney. that you see the hallway that he walks down. And you can see past the intersection as he turns around, as the door swings back this way a little bit. Down the hallway. It's lined with green doors with brass handles. You two, my instinct is to switch scenes, and I'm going to in a moment. But I want to give you a piece of information, Laz and Oak, that you would have as Jeannie takes you to home. Ashley escorts you through the same door you came through into another hallway with green doors and brass handles. As you realize you never made it to Traverse City General, you arrived at the Nexus Labs. But as you are being led up and out of the laboratory, Ashley Raven reaches into her bag and she pulls out a couple of lanyards and hands them to each of you.
Oh, you get staff badges.
She is giving you limited access badges to, on the one side it says the Paradise Orchards Processing Plant, but it has the Nexus Laboratories. It's the same type of ID badge you've seen before. It already has your photo ID on it, which is, interestingly, the same pictures as your school photos. So in each of these you're wearing school uniforms. Laz, she hands you 2 lanyards and says, I believe you'll be able to give this to her, hopefully soon. And you look down and you see Rosie's smiling face from the ID badge for Rosie Gunnarsson. Rosie.
What?
Your head is ringing. And as you blink and look up at Jessica, for a moment you see 2 of them. Your vision doubled. But you can tell something's off. You can see a difference between them. You can see one is Jessica and one is Anne. And as you blink and the images sort of coalesce and you're back in that room, you realize that it is not Jessica that is standing over you. It is Anne. And she says, "Are you okay?"
Am I on my feet? Am I sitting? Am I laying down?
You're laying on your back on the bed where you had gotten knocked back.
Oh, yes. I'm like, yeah, I think so. Something weird happened.
Yeah, I know. It's gonna get weirder. First, I'm not Jessica.
And I think Rosie kind of gets this, like, strange look on her face, and she kind of is like, yeah, I think I know. And she does, like, scooch away a little bit.
You don't,
like, with this realization, like, crashing in hard.
you don't have to be afraid. I'm here to help you.
How? What is this? What's going on?
I think it's best just to show you. And she walks over to her dresser. And there's a photo album. And I think this is something that Jessica / Anne would have kept. A photo album with Polaroids and developed pictures of all of you from school and different activities, hanging out at Maniac's Pizza, you know, the kind of pictures that were either, like I said, from a Polaroid, probably from Oak's Polaroid. The nicer
Can I
ones.
ask a specific question?
Yes.
Are we all in these pictures?
Yeah.
Does it look like another person took them of us, or does it look like one of us? Are they like selfies before selfies?
Oh no, I think definitely some of them Oak would be missing. The nicer pictures, often Oak is missing from those because he was probably using his good camera. But there's also like disposable pictures and like the ones at Maniac's Pizza or things like that. Clearly you got like Mario or somebody to or was it Luigi? I forget which one was that.
Luigi.
You got Luigi too. It depends on the iteration. In one of them it's Waluigi.
Wow.
You clearly got somebody to take your photograph, but
Amazing. Okay.
in addition to all of these pictures, she kind of turns the page, and in the middle of all of these pictures of smiling friends laughing and having a good time, there is a photograph, a very graphic photograph of you looking pale, lying on a surgical bed with surgeons all around you operating on you. And for a moment, you are pulled into that picture. And you are now standing in the operating room as you hear those same words that you heard over the phone, as they are doing everything they can to save your life. And then you're pulled back out.
I think Rosie's like short of breath, and she slams this photo album shut.
It won't close.
Oh.
Another picture. This time you see, this one is a close-up, very artsy. It almost looks like something that Jessica would have taken in photography class. Black and white, close-up tiled floor with a dark wet liquid. And as you look at it, you kind of get pulled in, and the color comes in, and you see that it's a pool of blood on the tile floor. And you realize you are standing in the middle of the waiting room as you look over and you just see Oak and Laz asleep, leaning against each other, covered in blood, sitting on the waiting room chairs. You're not pulled out of this one.
I think Rosie's like immediate instinct is to like rush forward for Laz and like take him by the shoulders.
And your hands pass through.
And I look at my hands. And I like stagger back kind of, and I'm looking at my hands.
They look slightly translucent.
And I like look at Laz and Oak, and I just like, I try again against all odds, and I'm like,
you cannot touch them. Your hands pass through. But you do see in their sleep that as you quickly are like trying to grab hold of them, both of them for a moment just sort of just shift, stirred in their sleep.
Is there like a table of like magazines in this room?
Yeah.
Rosie like tries to yell like wake up at these two. Does anything happen? She fucking flips this table of magazines. Or tries.
Your hands pass right through as you try to interact with this object that seems to not be... It's I'm trying to figure out the best way to describe it. There's two things that are happening here. One, It's almost like you're seeing when Jessica manifests her ability
Weird.
to phase through things.
Good call, Em.
But also, there's the fact that you're slightly translucent. Maybe a brains check, just for fun.
Great. 5. We like multiples of 5 here at Mini Terrain Domain. That feels good to me.
As you're standing there and as the boys are sleeping, behind them in the corner, currently turned off, up on the wall is a TV.
Mounted.
Ping, the old CRT TVs, as it kind of pings. And in progress is the movie Ghost with Patrick Swayze and Whoopi Goldberg.
Fuck, it's amigo. No. And I just kind of like start yelling into the sky, into the ceiling. Get me out of here. I don't want to see this. Get me out.
You turn and you're back in Jessica's bedroom. And Anne says,
Rosie stands up off of the bed. She's like, what the fuck was that?
You're dying, Rosie.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
You are.
I'm unbreakable. They said so.
But something changed. You did something different. Right?
I think Rosie, who has like sprung to her feet, kind of like falls back onto the bed. And doesn't say anything, but is kind of slowly realizing that, yeah.
But here's the thing. What you saw just now, those weren't dreams or visions or imagined. You were just in the waiting room with Laz and Oak. You were there.
Why couldn't I touch them then? Why couldn't I talk to them? Why couldn't I tell them to wake up?
Because you're kind of like Patrick Swayze, but not really. You're not dead. You're not dead yet, so you're not a ghost. But here's why this isn't terrible. At least I think, and for me, I've been here alone for so long. It's why I don't like being here. It's why Jessica didn't like being here. Because in the mirror, we're alone. There's nobody here to talk to or to comfort us. And then when this happened to you, you just showed up here. And so I recreated this memory in the hopes that it would ease your transition. But you can do something that I could never do. You can cross into the real world. It's like you're a reflection stepping out of a mirror. That's something I could never do. I can't do, but I can help you. Maybe if you can cross over, maybe it'll help you reconnect with your body. And you don't have to die.
Rosie kind of shrugs and is like, this is like a lot to take in. And she's like, I don't want to die. But I don't want to stay here. I don't want to stay here.
You can go, I think, almost anywhere you want to go. Just use this, and she points to the photo album. I want you to add the photo album to your inventory.
Ooh.
And basically, you can flip through the photo album and look for photographs of certain locations or possibly other things. And you can attempt to move into those spaces. That's all I'm going to tell you about the photo album right now.
Okay. And Rosie, like, touches the photo album and then kind of, like, her hand pulls back. And 'cause that was all pretty terrible. All the things she just saw. Is like, what if I, like, accidentally look at the wrong one? Is that going to fuck everything up?
What do you mean the wrong one?
The wrong picture. What if I, like, glance at the wrong picture? Am I going to go to the wrong place? What if I fuck it up?
I don't know that there would be any wrong pictures. These are pictures of places and people and things that are a part of your life. They might take you to not happy places. But that's how you're going to get stronger. The more you learn what you can do with this, the stronger you'll get, the more you'll be able to control. Maybe, and she turns, and I don't know that Jessica necessarily had a TV and VCR in her room, but she does now. In fact, it almost looks like one of those AV carts that a teacher would wheel into the room, as it's
Lucky
just
duck.
there, and she holds up a VHS copy of Ghost. Maybe we should study and see how Patrick Swayze did it. And she pops the tape into the VCR, and you see the opening of the movie begin, and she
I
kind
look
of
at that photo album one more time, and as the movie, like, as the title credits start, I kind of, like, scooch away from the photo album for a second, like, cross my arms, and then, like, kind of sit back on the bed and start watching the movie.
And with that, we're going to do one final scene change. As Mouse, Billy, Coop, and Jessica arrive on the edges of camp, Mouse looks at the three of you and says, you can go on to the lighthouse. If you need me, I'll be here. But I need a break from you guys.
This has been a lot.
And she turns and starts walking away towards the other side of the central part of the camp where the railhead is and the machinery for loading the logs up on the train cars and stuff. And you see she's kind of got the rifle slung over her shoulder, and she walks a little ways and she turns and looks back at you all. And then she turns away and you just see her shaking her head. She walks off towards her tent. The three of you continue to the lighthouse, where you see on the little peninsula there on the southern edge of the Crescent Bay is a lighthouse. You see its green door and its brass handle. What do you do?
Confidently stride towards it, expecting the other two to come with.
Are you just going through the door, or are you knocking, or what are you doing?
No, I'm gonna walk up to it and wait. I am always leery of green doors with brass handles.
Fair.
Fair enough. So Billy's waiting on the two of you, Coop and Jessica.
As we're walking up, what is it? Coop kind of lags behind a little bit and kind of tugs on Jessica's shirt
Mhm.
and says,
Don't ask me how I know this. Well, I mean, you know a little bit about what I do, but Mouse was talking to someone in her mind, telling them that we were on our way here, and now I'm a little worried I made the wrong choice.
You see, like, Jessica furrow her eyebrow. Did you hear the person she was talking to?
Jacob,
No, you didn't.
There wasn't a response, or at least I couldn't hear it.
Well, I should be careful then. We know that she was working, or she was communicating with Algernon
Well,
and with those wolves.
yep. So I don't know who's in there. It might not be Amelia.
As you say that, the door to the lighthouse opens. And Amelia is standing there. And
Just
she
does one of those comic sighs of relief.
and as she opens the door, and she seems genuinely pleased to see you. But she kind of almost lunges out, or not lunges, but kind of comes out at you like so very happy, and then she stops and turns over her shoulder and says, "They're here." And then she holds open the door and says, "Please, come in. It's so good to see you. It's been, well, I was worried."
Jessica is going to walk in at Amelia's beckoning, but is like craning her neck to see as quickly as possible who this other person is.
And this is, as you walk in, this is the way the door opened. This is the sort of, it looks like the interior of a living space. Except the mess from before with papers and photos and everything else scattered all around from what happened before is all cleaned up. And you see Amelia's bed off on the side, and you see another bed in the other wall. And there's the big wooden table. And seated at the big wooden table is, for a split second, what looks like Heinz. The same sort of pea coat and sort of just overall lighthouse keeper look. In fact, smoking a pipe. And you see the little haze of gray-blue smoke in the room. And as soon as you come walking in, they stand up, putting both hands down, take a big puff on the pipe and set it down on the little on this little ashtray next to it. And they go, "Well, it certainly has been a while, hasn't it?" And they take off their cap and shake their long gray hair out, and you see Tammy,
Oh.
one of the three witches.
Someday somebody's gonna make you want to turn around and say goodbye.
And she says, "We've been waiting for you." And she kind of goes like this. And you watch as she kind of goes and divides into two more people. And you see Nikki and Chrissy.
Oh my god.
And all three of them sort of shake, crack their necks, crack their knuckles, and they are looking at you with genuine warmth. And Chrissy immediately moves over to the kitchen area and puts a kettle on, and they're, within moments, there's place settings for tea and little snacks and stuff, and everything being placed out. And you notice that some of what's being laid out on the table is anachronistic for where you are, as they're laying out things like Twinkies and some of those windmill cookies that have the little almond slivers in them, little cucumber finger sandwiches, all this stuff. Tammy turns to whoever's closest to the door, Coop or Billy, and says, "Would you mind closing that? I don't want Amelia to get loose." And you see as Amelia kind of smiles and then kind of almost falls forward, dropping down to all fours, transforming into one of the cats.
Oh,
And that's where we're going to end tonight's
God.
session.
Yes. Yes. That's great, dude. That's great.
Did not want to interfere at all in where you guys decided to go, but I was so hoping you were going to go to the lighthouse tonight.
Oh my
And
God, dude.
in true fashion, as Craig has been here this whole time watching, with the break, we still continued our Bigby Boys coffee talks and have been plotting and planning. And Craig was the one who said, "Trust me, they're going to want to go to the lighthouse." Maybe not all of you did, but
He knew.
He gets it, man.
so real quick, Rosie,
Yeah.
so because of the nature of what was happening, I did give Carrie a slight heads up. I didn't tell her very many details. I just told her, "You're not going to have anything to do for the first little bit. Just hang in there."
There's going to be an inactive
And I kind of
segment
talked
for
a
you.
little bit about what was happening with her. For I don't know how long, I can't say how long, but Rosie exists essentially in a capacity as Patrick Swayze in Ghost. She may be in scenes with some of you, but you will not be able to interact with her. And
Go
she may not be able to
crazy.
interact with you. So for all intents and purposes for your characters, Rosie is in a coma, medically induced, under the watch and care of Dr. Devin Sharp and his team at the Nexus Labs. I felt so bad when one night we were theorizing about, or talking about stuff, and Tamiko just said, "We better not end up back at the labs."
Well,
My
'Cause-
first thought, I was like, they just walked through the door. Are they going to be at Traverse County General in 1985, or are they going to
Or
be there
on
in
the mainland before there was-
future?
So
And Jake's just like, "I'm not saying anything,"
Here's-
and I'm like, as long as it's not the fucking lab again.
here's the logic of why, because Craig and I went back and forth on this, and I said, look, they can't be at Travers because it's not just on one end. You have to have a green door on both ends. Why would there be a green door at Traverse City General? Where would there be, and who would have a state-of-the-art medical facility and trauma center? The people that are making the need for medical facilities and trauma.
yeah,
So-
exactly. Creating this whole fucking
Trying-
mess.
So this is one of those times where I felt very confident going into this session because I knew all of the pieces on the board, and there were some variables in here, and I had to wait for you guys to decide what you were going to do. I wasn't sure if Oak was going to go full Time Lord and disrupt time again. But let's just say I accounted for a lot of moves, maybe not all of the moves. I was able to get everything out that I wanted to get out this session, with obviously certain things that didn't happen because of choices you didn't make. But this is where we are after the not season finale, sort of the mid-season break. This is the new state of things, so I hope you guys all enjoyed that. Thank you all for such amazing scenes.
Very good
I
shit,
think
guys.
major props to Jeremy and Chad for the scenes dealing with in the waiting room and learning that you are, in this iteration, you are brothers.
I just need y'all to know that Chad pulled the heartstrings so hard that Jeremy messaged me and was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, man.
It was intense.
Just Chad."
It was
Gotta
good.
check out my booze.
Chad.
This is the
Typical
episode that will get
Chad.
sent to the Oscar committee.
Yeah, right. For your
And-
consideration.
And
But
not to be too overshadowed by that, but Em and
Ooh, yeah.
and Ted,
Evan,
but with
fucking Ted.
Tamiko there as well, sort of handling that intense
Guys.
conversation where it's like, okay, we're decided we're going to the lighthouse, and Em's like, no, Jessica doesn't want to go to the lighthouse.
No! Fuck that.
But then you
Good.
pulled it, and it's so funny because it's ironically almost identical to the plot line of the last episode of a sitcom I watched, where somebody was just doing, Billy was immediately going to capitulate and do what you wanted, what Jessica wanted, and you were like, no, don't just do it because you want to go
Right.
along with what I said. Make up your own mind. Like, I just
So
watched that
passive.
episode
I
today,
think-
and you were manifesting it.
No. I will be interested to see what happens when the gang comes back together, or if the gang comes back together.
But also, Carrie, I didn't tell you anything other than the state of your existence. You had no idea what scene was going to happen.
No.
As usual, there were certain things that happened in this session that I just pulled out of thin air.
You mentioned like the potential of a coma, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like that was it.
The photo album was literally in the moment because I didn't have any idea how I wanted that mechanism to go. And I
Yeah.
trusted myself to figure it out. And that's what happened. So thank you all for an incredible session, a great return. And yeah, there's still a split party. Split by what, 130 years at least, because I forgot to mention this. I didn't know if you were going to look at the magazine specifically, but based on what memories you guys had as well, you do know that you are in 1985 Paradise.
Noted.
So with that, huge thank you to everybody that resubbed and bits, and shout out to formerly known as Emily, who raided into us after their stream. Formerly known as Emily is a friend of the channel, so be sure to check them out. I don't know what it says what they were playing. Lost in Random, that's what they've been playing. I know they did a big long Baldur's Gate 3 stream, series. Check out Erasmus Expeditions on YouTube tomorrow and again on Sunday. Couple of games coming up. Tamiko is part of the one. I don't know who all else is in the one. I can't remember the one you're doing the
Fiasco.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm trying to make this up. Just real quick, what are these games? Just tell us tell everybody what to look for.
Friday, tomorrow night, is the second episode of Ironclad Covenant. Is a friend of mine named Ben Buckner under Buckstar Games has put out a book, and he hired me to run kind of an expedition trilogy of his game. So that will be the second session of that, and that has Tamiko as well as some other fantastic players. And then Sunday will be Fiasco, which is One in the Chamber. It's Boomtown, so it's Western. If you've never played Fiasco or watched it, I highly recommend it if you like narrative-heavy role-playing. And that game has Chad and Carrie, as well as some other fantastic people over there. So yeah, somebody's going to die, more than likely.
Great.
If not most of us.
It's not who's gonna die. It's like who might live. Like
Yeah, right? Who's actually going to live? Which is often the case in Fiasco.
If you're watching this on the VOD, these games will probably have already happened, so you can still head over to
Erasmus Expeditions.
Erasmus
Talked about it.
Expeditions on YouTube and check out those games. Anybody else got anything going on this week before we get out of here? Ted, you got any games coming up you want to plug?
it's kind of competing against you, but you know, we always have a game over on Anarchy Tuesday nights. We are currently playing the last of Ether Skies.
Nice.
It is a steampunk eldritch horror inspired setting. We're playing it with 5th edition rules at the moment, but Dave and I are trying to write this setting using our own rule set that we're using for Zoo Mafia. That's going to be a project, you know, somewhere out in the future.
Very cool.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And it's not a competition. In a space where all of our games are recorded and put on the platforms for VODs.
I just meant that I know that you also run games on Tuesday nights. So
yeah, every other Tuesday. If you'd rather go over and, you know, do what I do. Open them both up and just switch back and forth. So with that, as I said, thanks to everybody who did their various supports. Thank you to everybody in the chat hanging out. Thanks to Miko for putting together and posting the bingo cards every week for the individual games for fun. Love all that stuff. If you're somebody that likes to lurk quietly in the background, or maybe you're watching on VOD with us later, know that we appreciate you and hope you are enjoying these games as much as we're enjoying playing them. With that, I wanted to say a final thank you to all of these absolutely incredible players, people, friends that are so invested in this game that they bring some of the most intense, real, raw emotion to these scenes and to these characters. Thank you, as always, Chad, Tamiko, Carrie, Ted, Jeremy, and Em. Without whom I totally forgot how I usually say that.
I thought you froze for a second.
I couldn't. I froze in that I couldn't remember what my next line is supposed to be. I was going to say, and we're going to end this.
It would just be me talking to myself for a few hours.
Thank you.
And with that,
we'll end the stream the same way we end every time, and you can say it with me if you want. May the Schwartz be.